This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Hi, my name is Igor Kheifets, and this is The List Building Lifestyle, the only podcast which delivers cutting-edge conversion strategies from the online trenches straight to your earbuds. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. I also invite you to grab a free copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. And now, once again, it's time to claim your list building lifestyle.
Welcome back, list builders, to another edition of List Building Lifestyle with your Royal Highness of list building, Mr. Igor Kheifets.
I think the right term here is the Royal Junus.
I don't think I can get away with that. Yeah. So what's up, Igor? What's good in your world?
Well, a lot. It's hot as hell. Literally. I'm not exaggerating. It's not a metaphor. It is as hot as it is in hell, if hell actually exists. Really hot here in Israel today, and I'm just beat. It's only 1:24 p.m., but I'm just so tired because it's so hot.
Yeah, that heat takes it out of you. Like when you were saying it was hot, and I'm thinking, I just went to Puerto Rico. I know hot. But it was like 95, 100, and you got 122 over there. It's kind of sickening. Yeah,
and humidity, and you combine these two together, and it's like you're in a sauna all the time, like 24/7. Impossible. You ever tried sleeping when it's wet and hot?
No, but I think this explains a lot of what's going on over there. It's just too hot, and people get pissed. That's what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we're pissed on the Middle East. Yeah.
Oh man. So Igor, what do you got for us today?
Well, they want to chat about squeeze pages because, it dawned on me, just like we never spoken about, where to buy solo ads on a solo ad or list building podcast up until like in episode 150 something. We also never really devoted an entire episode to a squeeze page because, frankly, I just take it for granted. I figured out squeeze pages early on, and I never had issues with the opt-in rate. But to many of my clients, it's a big deal. In fact, I was just recording an interview with Major Lance Sumner that has been published recently. And, he said, and I quote, he said, before meeting Igor, I may have gotten like a 10% opt-in rate and an occasional sale. But once I started working with Igor, my opt-in rates went above 50%. I started getting sales consistently. Now, of course, if you're running a 1,000-click solo ad, the difference between a 10% opt-in rate and the 50% opt-in rate is incredible. That means that you're getting 500 subscribers instead of 100, and that's a big deal. So I wanted to, share how I build squeeze pages and exactly what do I work on and how do I make sure that every single page I create pulls at least 30%, usually much higher, which is, Jonathan, one of the reasons why, we guarantee opt-in conversions to our clients when we work with them. A lot of people actually, they find it fascinating. How can we do that? But when you've built as many squeeze pages as I have, you just know what works.
Igor, one thing. For people listening that may have just crawled out from under a rock, what the heck is a squeeze page?
Oh, no. Okay. See, I take this thing for granted. So, so a squeeze page is a page that has a headline and an opt-in form, and it's hooked up to your email autoresponder account. So when someone opts in, which means types their email address into the form and hits enter, they're added to your mailing list, and then they're redirected to the next page in your funnel. Now, a squeeze page has only one agenda: to squeeze, hence the name, squeeze page, to squeeze your visitor's email address. And that's how you build a list. In fact, you can't build a list without a squeeze page because that's the place where you ask for the email. Now, the common misconception with squeeze pages is that people think that you have to offer an ethical bribe, a valuable piece of free information in order to get people to share their email address, because otherwise, this transaction doesn't seem fair. And a lot of people do treat it as a transaction, as if, if somebody's sharing their email address, it's almost like they're giving you money. The strategy is called moving the free line, and it's been first introduced ages ago by Aben Pagan during one of his famous Ignition talks. But I'm here to tell you that it's just not relevant anymore. In fact, I subscribe to the same school of thought that Todd Brown subscribes to. And Todd Brown, in case you don't know, he's what would you call him, Jonathan? Todd, a sales funnel specialist.
Oh man, he's a deep thinker, like too deep for me to even keep up with. But yeah, he's really into his company's marketing funnel automation, I believe, and that's what it is just creating a bridge between your prospects and your product digitally.
Yeah, so I describe Todd as somebody who's done hundreds of millions of dollars in sales when it comes to direct response marketing on and off the internet. He wrote copy for Igor. He worked with Rich Schefren. This guy knows everything there is to know about list building and sales funnels. And so what Todd talks about is, instead of offering a bribe to your potential subscribers, is to do something better, is to appeal to the one thing that works so much better than appealing to greed, and that is curiosity. And you do that by offering a big idea that your product stands for. Okay, now most people, actually don't know what the big idea of their product is, but that is why, creating a squeeze page is such a great exercise in marketing, because if you can find out what your big idea is, you will not only generate higher opt-in rates and get more people on your list with the same amount of money you're spending already, but you'll also make more sales. Now, this episode, however, is not about how to find your big idea. In fact, I'm sure if you Google it, big idea Todd Brown, Todd probably has a blog post or a video where he talks about that, and he can probably teach it much better than I do. But what I want to share with you today is the 5 things that I consider the golden rules of building squeeze pages that I always follow and that never fail me in helping me create high converting landing pages. Now, before I do, Jonathan, is there anything else I may have forgotten before I kind of get into the advanced stuff?
Absolutely. I didn't want to interrupt your flow there. But is there a difference between, say, a squeeze page and a landing page, or are they all the same idea?
Well, a lot of people treat it the same way. They believe squeeze page is the landing page. However, a landing page, technically speaking, is any first page that a prospect lands in your funnel. Now, if we're talking about, say, Google AdWords, your landing page should not be a squeeze page. It should be a different sort of page that gets you, higher stick rate on the page and then makes people kind of, go through the content on your website. So no, technically speaking, squeeze page is a squeeze page, also known as the capture page. And a landing page is just a general idea of the very first page that the prospect sees when they land in your funnel.
That helps. Yeah. Okay. That helps a lot. Okay. Let's get into these 5 that you have for us.
So there's 5 rules that I follow. I never break them. Okay. And you can do whatever you want. I'll never break these rules. Anytime I do, I regret it with really low opt-in rates. So rule number 1 is your headline is about 60% of the success of your squeeze page. It actually introduces the big idea and it piques curiosity and creates a desire for the prospect to unlock the next page in your funnel by entering their email in the form, which is, again, the number 1 purpose of your squeeze page. Rule number 2, no video. And this is big because a lot of people, for some reason, they're married to this idea of using video on the squeeze page because they believe that somehow the video will produce a higher quality prospect. Now, I don't subscribe to this belief one bit. It's actually not true. I split tested it. My subscribers are just fine, whether I make them watch a video or not. But without a video, I always get more of them. So yeah. Unexpected, I know. But, if it's not controversial, don't teach it, as our mutual friend Ben Settle says. So rule number 3, I never ever break, is I never use any heavy graphics. And, even if I have to use one of those stylish, high-quality backgrounds, I make sure to get that image into like a format that is high quality, yet very, very low in size. Now, I'm not big on graphics. I actually have Dennis do it for me, and he was the one to first teach me that, by the way, like that loading times matter a lot. Like a second in loading times can make a difference between a 35% opt-in rate and a 27% opt-in rate. Something as short as a second of load time. So I never use heavy graphics that make my sites load really slow. Plus, with the recent changes we were making to our funnels, Dennis came up with another incredible thing, which is way too advanced for you to implement right now and way too advanced for me. I'm only blessed to have him working on it. But he came up with this crazy idea that we're using a service. I have no idea what that service is, so don't ask me. But this service identifies where you're coming from when you visit my website, and it loads the website from the closest server to you. So, Jonathan, if you're log into my site from Florida, it will find a server somewhere in Florida or New York or whatever is in the area, figuratively speaking, and will load the website from that server. And if I'm logging in from the Middle East, it will load the website from Europe or or maybe Israel, maybe not. But basically, it's going to be much closer to the actual location, so you can load it faster. Now, how incredible is that?
You guys are something else. But then again, you guys are pushing likely more traffic than most of the people listening. So you have to do that.
Yeah, you're right. So for us, a 2% difference in opt-in rates could mean thousands of dollars every month. So we're taking this shit seriously. Now, rule number 4 is opt-in form above the fold. Now, the fold is anything your visitor sees the moment they land on your page without having to scroll down. Now, obviously, there's different sizes to the fold depending on the device your visitor is using, whether mobile or desktop. It could be an 11-inch screen, a 13-inch, a 15-inch, or maybe just a cell phone that's just kind of, narrow and high, right? But whatever the case, you shouldn't let that concern you. All you have to do is to make sure that both the mobile version and the desktop version of your website has the opt-in form above the fold so the person can see it without having to scroll down. Do not ever hide your forms because that will hurt your conversions.
Get out, bro. The whole internet says that you have to have a 2-click, and you're telling me you don't?
No. I mean, as far as 2-click and okay, so here's the difference. If you're talking about the 2-click as in you have to click on a button that kind of opens up the form, that's a totally different feature to placing that actual button for them to click above the fold and not making them to scroll down.
Okay. I got clarity on that now.
Yeah, as far as the 2-click, the concept that was, I think, first introduced by people over at Lead Pages, where instead of showing the opt-in form, they show you a button and you click on it and that brings up the form. That is something for you to test. I have pages that convert better this way and the other way, so I don't have any undisputed facts to support each either way. That is why I didn't include it in the rule list. But what I do know is that the form has to be above the fold, no matter what.
The action, whatever action you want them to take, they have to see it when they land.
That's right. That's right. And last but not least, ask for the email without the name or the phone number. Now, it's cardinal sin to collect too much information on your squeeze page. I'm telling you, it's a sin. It repels prospects. It makes you look needy. It ignores one of the most sensitive issues your prospect is concerned with, and that is privacy. Okay, especially online. People are very touchy about their privacy. So they'd much rather share their email address anonymously than having, to be forced to give you their real name and a phone number. In fact, if you test this out for yourself, you probably find that an opt-in form that collects a name and an email will produce about, a 10% difference versus the one that just collects the email address. But if you test name and email versus name, email, and the phone number, you can see a gap as big as 20%. So we're talking about, the difference between just email, which can produce 30, 40, 50% opt-in rate and sometimes even higher, to name, email, and phone that usually gets stuck around 12%.
Crazy. But then how am I supposed to do those emails where I'm like, Jonathan, I have your downloads?
Well, the first thing to remember is that people know that you don't actually sit there and manually put in their name. They know you're using a code. People are not stupid. So that's why a lot of the people, even if you do collect the name, they'll put in silly stuff like Mickey Mouse and Donald Trump, right? I think I told the story of how I registered to a poker website, and I said that my name was Chuck Norris. I put in a fake social security number, etc., and I got a letter 2 weeks later saying, "Dear Mr. Chuck Norris, thank you so much for joining poker666.com," and blah, 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 blah. That was like when I was barely 18 years old, you know?
Nice.
So don't worry about the name. Name is really overrated. I know that there's studies and there's like blogs that tell you that personalization is critical, but I think that people get caught up too much into trying to personalize the name. Instead, they should be personalizing the marketing, right? So the kind of stuff that, say, Ryan Levesque is teaching, where every person puts himself into some sort of a bucket, right? We all think of ourselves in terms of buckets. So personalize your marketing and your content by bucketing your leads into these categories and adjusting your marketing accordingly. Now, if you want to learn more about that, you should read Ask by Ryan Levesque, right? Just to kind of give you an idea. We're not going to get into this episode.
Yeah. All right. So we're talking squeeze pages. Can you just give us a quick recap of the 5?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one is your headline. It's by far the most important part of the entire process. Get this one right, and you like 70% in. Second rule, don't use video. Video does not produce a higher quality prospect. Video doesn't do anything for you that a page without a video can do. Don't use any heavy graphics because the page will be slow to load and you will lose subscribers. Keep your opt-in form above default. Don't make people scroll down. And last but not least, only ask for the email address. Don't ask for the name or a phone number, at least not until later in your funnel. Because this way, you will be generating opt-in rates sometimes 3 or 4 times higher than you otherwise would have generated with collecting names and phone numbers.
Boom. Straight from the Sultan of Squeeze pages. Get it. What's coming up next time?
Well, next time, I'm going to share with you Igor's 5 rules to email marketing. I think we've done some of those before, so these are going to be 5 additional rules to what to do, what not to do with your emails.
We're talking email. All right, can't wait for that. Another list building lifestyle show is in the can. List builders, we'll be back with you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for listening to the List Building Lifestyle. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to never miss an episode. Because who knows, just one conversion tactic we share on the show might double your list and double your business. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. And don't forget to claim your complimentary copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. This is Igor Kheifets, and until next time we talk, have a good one.
This is the podcastfactory.com.